All right, Veteran of the Year for the 51st District, Army Captain Lynette Jones is with us in the studio right now. You said it was a pleasure to meet you, but it is really a pleasure, my pleasure. I got to tell you, I admire a lot of things you've done. I almost don't know where to begin. But let me begin with the honor. How did you get the honor?
Well, I do a lot of work in the community, and earlier this year I actually got something called a Crimson Award, and from that, my work in the community, feeding the veterans, doing different programs for citizens and children, I was nominated through Mr. Bradford's office.
Yeah. Well, when you have the uniform on, what do you do for the Army?
Well, I'm a human resource officer. Basically, my job is to strategically place human resource assets, which is personnel, people, actually place people on the battlefield as far as postal, casualties, and personnel accountability. So it's a big piece.
Okay. Now, let's get into the radio station, which really interests me. So how did you come up with the idea, okay, I want to start a radio station? Well, what was behind it?
I like to talk. I'm a talker, definitely. And I decided that I wanted to use my voice to actually touch people. And I felt would be beneficial. Sometimes I think people have a lot of rhetoric and they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So I just figured I would have different experts, people coming on. I'm just always inspired by conversation. So I figured what way to touch the people and touch the community through a radio station, through talk radio.
Okay, well, it's not easy to get a radio station on the air, even when it's on the internet. How'd you go about it?
Well, I mean, it's just basically doing research. I did my research. I decided I wanted to do it. I got a list of how much it would cost for all the equipment, and I just basically put it together, and I said, you know what, this is what I want to do. I'm going to do it, and, had the money and was able to put it all together.
Yeah, the equipment is very professional. I must say.
Thank you.
So where do you plan to go with this?
Well, I really would like to be syndicated. It would be nice. I would like to have actually multiple locations for the radio station, like New Day Talk Radio is the name of the company, New Day Talk Radio LA, New Day Talk Radio Atlanta, New York. I want to go all over with it.
So you give advice. Go ahead. Hit me with something. Or do I have to ask you a question?
Oh, you could ask me a question.
I mean, do you cover everything? You cover finance? Do you cover relationships?
Absolutely. Finance. I mean, they have programs where people can actually reduce their student loans. You had a story about that earlier.
Right, we did.
Yeah, and some people need to be educated on things. So what I like to do is go out and do the research, find the information, and actually provide it to the public and people, my listening audience.
And what sort of response have you?
I have a pretty good response. People say, hey, Lynette, how'd you know this? So it's not me necessarily. It's the guests, the experts that I actually bring onto the show. So if we have like women issues, I have an expert, a doctor, a female doctor come on, and she'll deal with that. Money issues, relationship issues, I just basically talk to them and get the questions answered.
Okay, so I see a possible turning point in your life here. So you got the radio career, right, which I can tell by your smile you really like. You got the military. Are these two things compatible?
You know what? Actually, the military shows me my military experience being a leader. It helps me to lead in my business. It helps me to be structured. It helps me to actually be disciplined. Because with the radio station, you have to make sure, just like with you guys, you have to make sure your guests are here and you have the right stories and you have adequate, information and accurate information, as accurate as possible. So with the military, those skills play in it by being a captain, and actually it helps me with New Day Talk Radio to just really deal with people.
You think you're going to continue then with?
Oh, absolutely.
With two careers.
You know what? Until I get old, I got a lot of time.
Okay, well, Lynette, they say there's only so many hours in a day. You can only accomplish so much.
But you know what I do? I'm a multitasker. I'm very disciplined. If I say I'm going to work at the office for 8 hours with the military, and then once I get off work with the military, I go to New Day Talk Radio to my studio, and I spend 4 or 5 hours there, and I get at least about 6 hours sleep.
Okay, now if somebody wants to find the radio station, how do they do that?
It's www.newdaytalkradio.com. So they would go to our website, and we have my show is The Captain. It was The Captain, and they can actually go to all my archives. All my shows are on demand, and they can listen to my show anytime.
That's wonderful. Well, didn't take long to understand exactly why you got this honor.
Thanь you.
It's terrific.
Thank you.
You do a great job.
I just try to always do right by people and treat people like I want to be treated.
I hope some people see this and give you a little boost as well.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
That'd be great.
I appreciate that.
Such a pleasure.
It was a pleasure meeting you, too.
Well, it's a pleasure meeting you.
It's
a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
I like that.
Thank you.